Ben Platt, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it, buddy. How are you doing, and where are you quarantined, bud?
I'm quarantined in LA in my childhood home, in my childhood bedroom with my parents.
No.
Of course, yeah. I'm a New Yorker usually, but I wanted to get to some space, and so I've been in the teenage room and reverting slowly to my teenage self, but doing just fine.
What was the first thing that's kind of like weirded you out? You're sleeping in the same bedroom or no?
The same bed that I grew up in, yeah. I mean, I have like started eating cereal in the morning again. There's like centerpieces from my bar mitzvah still in my room. All of my like Pippin musical posters. It's nothing has changed. It's very untouched.
This is like where we talked about this, where you kind of got your bug and you were doing the Broadway shows in your backyard or something, am I right?
Yeah, we have like a little platform in the backyard that like in my eyes works really beautifully as a stage. So that's where I did all of my productions growing up. I did like, Lion King with a bunch of kids from my first grade class that I could like convince to come over on the weekends and perform. And
First
naturally
grade.
I got like 4 or 5 of them to show up. And like, because even when there were only 5 kids, I was like, we got to make sure that one of these kids is playing young Simba and one of them is playing old Simba, because you got to see that transition and sort of
You're a
like live
producer.
that journey.
Wow.
So like, we don't have enough for Timon and Pumbaa, but it doesn't matter as long as there's a moment where young Simba becomes old Simba. I feel like that was
And
the most
how would that moment happen?
well, so I had the one kid was on stage because he'd done the beginning of the show. He was young Simba. And then we pulled a bunch of flower petals out of my mom's garden, just ravaged her stuff, and just threw them on him. And then the other kid ran in and switched with him. It was very theatrical, really beautiful directorial choice, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure your mom was happy that you ripped up her garden too.
Absolutely thrilled. Yeah, she loves when stuff gets ripped up. But yeah, that's where I got bit. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about Dear Evan Hansen. I know we talked about this, and man, you were fantastic in this play.
Thanks,
Um,
man.
but there was rumors that Dear Evan Hansen could be a film, and you would be in the film. Is this happening?
Well, I mean, we're kind of in this weird like COVID limbo where kind of anything can happen. It's something we definitely have been trying to get together and make happen. I know Universal really wants to make the film, and it's kind of a toss up at this point, just based on can we do it safely and can we get it together in time? And some of us are getting a little long in the tooth, so I think it's like kind of a now or never kind of thing. But I'm hopeful that it can come together and we can find a safe way to do it. And you'll be the first to know, but as of now, it could really go either way. But I think it could be a beautiful thing. So we'll see.
Oh, people would love it. I think once people see what's going to happen with Hamilton, everyone will be going, yeah, we should have filmed this. I mean, you were unbelievable. By the way, what's going on with the stash? I can't believe I haven't brought this up. This is unbelievable.
I just figured now or never.
Give it a standing ovation if you don't mind.
Thank you. Here's a close-up of the stash.
Oh.
Thank you.
What are the reviews?
Well, I've always wanted to do it. I've been afraid to do it. And I figured like quarantine now or never kind of thing. My boyfriend Noah really likes it, so it makes me really like it. And certainly if we did the Evan Hansen movie, this would go away. But for now.
You got to show range. You got to show your range. There could be like a fast forward scene of Dear Evan Hansen. Like it's you.
Yeah, he's like a grown kind of 70s dude. Yeah.
Looking back, and there's like a Stand By Me. You can narrate the whole thing. I grew a mustache 2 summers ago, and I called it the Summer of Stash, and I was very excited about it. And universally panned, like globally.
I guarantee mine. They don't get it, but that's okay. That makes me like it a little more, I think.
Oh, you have to do it. You got to do it. I mean, when you're much older, to be like, look how young and cool I look, like a stud. I had a cool mustache. It's awesome. It's fun. I want to say also thank you for what you're doing with your activism as well.
Of course.
I see you on that. Not on your socials, but just in the news and everywhere. You've been to a few protests, and you've been donating a lot of money to different causes. What's your thought on everything that's going on? And
I mean, it's wild. I think it's been incredibly eye-opening for me, the way it has for everybody in a lot of different ways, particularly white people. I think that, it's been a really important thing to come to terms with the difference between just avoiding being an active racist and being an active anti-racist. And I think figuring out the difference between being actively an ally and accomplice versus just sort of being neutral is really important, and something that goes really overlooked, particularly in something that's so systemic and so pervasive. And I think no matter how pure your intentions or sort of how benevolent you feel like you are as a white person. There is just something innate and inherent that we have to kind of take ownership of and sort of act against. And so that's been a really nice wake-up call, I think. And for me, it's just been all about making sure I'm amplifying the right voices, the Black leaders and activists that have been fighting the same fight for a lot longer than just these past couple months, and who know a lot more about the ins and outs of all of this than we do, and making sure those are the voices we're following and listening to, and not speaking before I understand what I'm really saying. And
people have questions about anything. Obviously, there's places to go, but if you could start with Ben's social, Ben Platt. He's got a lot of good spots that maybe could open your eye a little bit and have you start thinking to make the world a better place. Speaking of that, The Politician season 2, we just had your co-star Gwyneth Paltrow on the show a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Oh my God. She was just so hard to talk to and deal with, but she gave you rave reviews, buddy. Rave reviews, as everyone does. Everyone who talks about you, they have nothing like, watch out for this guy. He's unbelievable.
Thanks.
But explain what's happening this season.
Yeah, of course. Peyton, so yeah, the whole first season was kind of like this backstory setting up this character of Peyton, who's like this crazy egomaniac, passionate politician who wants to be the leader and wants to be the president. And it was this whole kind of high school drama madness. And now, he's a bit older. All the characters are a bit older. They're in their 20s. I miraculously get to play my own age, which is a bizarre new experience for me. And it's all about a state Senate race in New York where Peyton's running against Dee Dee Standish, who's played by Judith Light. She's like been in that seat for 13 consecutive terms, and he's the first person to challenge her in a long time. And her campaign manager is, of course, Bette Midler, who plays Hadassah Gold, which is just, very casual to have Bette Midler just like giving an all-in comedic performance next to you.
Judith Light and Bette Midler are two legends. So now you're going for Senate with your dreams are to become the president, really.
Yes. It's all about state Senate. It's obviously somewhat fantastical, and the nice thing about it coming out in this moment is that it's pretty much an escape. I mean, there's a few things that obviously are relevant. There's an episode about cancel culture, and there's a bit about like activating young people to vote, which I think is a really powerful and fantastic message. But other than that, it's just really kind of kooky, bizarre, fun, sharp. It's a really nice little 3.5-hour escape.
Ben Platt, you're awesome. Thank you so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it, and you rock. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, dude.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.